says it aims to make SUVs impossible to own in urban areas. 3/4 of SUVs were bought by people living in towns and cities, according to research in 2019. A quarter bought by those living in rural areas where they are often an essential way of getting around difficult terrain. So today we debate, are SUVs a climate menace or a rural lifeline? Joining me to debate this topic is Howard Cox, founder of the Fair Fuel UK campaign. It works to lower fuel taxation. And Donnachadh McCarthy, eco-columnist at The Independent. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Howard, could I just start with you on a... We'll come back to this in a second, but I understand you've just had a meeting with the Transport Minister. Anything you can share with us?
I'd like to share something with you at the moment. We were talking about the 2030 diesel petrol ban, and we've decided to work much closer together for communication to most of the 37 million drivers in this country. So it was a good meeting, constructive. We didn't achieve much, but we're moving forward to getting some sort of consensus in terms of actually communicating with the public.
OK, well, that's another story. I was hoping we could deliver some kind of scoop, maybe another occasion. Donnachadh, just on this point about... not slashing tyres, letting tyres down to incapacitate SUVs. Is it moral? Might it be effective?
An interesting way of the public domain. We have to remember transport is the single largest source of carbon emissions in the United Kingdom. And over the last 15 years of regulations to make cars more efficient, what has happened is that we've started buying bigger and bigger cars. So much so that now SUVs, if they were a nation, would be the 7th largest emitter of carbon in the world. It's the 700 megatons of carbon emissions from them. The embedded carbon in these large tractors is staggering. The largest SUV, the carbon emissions would be around 35 tons. It's equivalent of 47 years of a household's electricity emissions. In a situation where the planet's on fire, with the dire warnings from the UN last week, it is totally immoral to be buying such vehicles for basically lifestyle issues in central cities.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that's always true. I mean, there are two questions, immediate questions, Howard Cox. One is that increasingly a lot of SUVs are hybrid, some are electric, and in parts of the world outside of towns and cities, they're an essential part of getting around, towing equipment, towing trailers, horse boxes, all the rest of it. Howard Cox, that's for you. Are you still with us?
Sorry, yes, I am. So I do apologise. I thought you were still talking to Mr. McCarthy. I'm afraid his statistics, typically, they come from the Hans Christian Andersen Book of Science. He uses figures that just throws them out there for emotion, and they're not fact at all whatsoever. It's a shame we're seeing this. We understand they're actually letting down tyres, would you believe, of electric SUVs. Can you believe that? This is what's happening at the moment in time. This is a group of people similar to, I don't know what, the Extinction Rebellion, all of the sort of people that Mr. McCarthy supports. He has no clue about what matters to people, and everyone has a right to drive what they want to drive. It's as simple as that. This is a criminal act on people, and they should go to prison for it.
Well, that seems a little bit steep for laying down some tyres, I would have thought. But Donnachadh McCarthy, do answer that point about, I mean, letting down the tyres of electric SUVs. Where's the logic in that?
Yeah, well, if you actually picked up my point, I said that the embedded carbon, a lot of people don't understand the difference between carbon emissions and embedded carbon. To make a large SUV like the tractors on the screen right now can take around 35 tons of carbon to create it for the tyres, the metal, the windows, etc. And that's the equivalent of 47 years of electricity emissions for the household in the UK. They are basically a carbon bomb before they even drive a kilometre. And
what about when they're used in the countryside, Donnachadh?
Great. Absolutely no problem. If they're designed, 4x4s were Land Rovers. They were Land Rovers, a great British product created for terrains where cars could not go. And what happened was the marketing guys got hold of it and sold it as a lifestyle to posh people in the inner cities. And what has happened is that they have taken over the car industry rather than what they should be used for land terrain in the countryside and foreign countries where there are no roads.